Hello everyone, welcome to Questions and Reason. This is Sessions with the Founder. You know how it works. We pick a couple of topics and we briefly discuss them. Okay, today I want to start with child-headed homes. There's been a huge problem with the previous generation in the black community, where you find a big sister or a big brother raising his siblings. And this is because their parents, were not used to the structure of what the new economic system brought. Meaning, we used to be at home and work our own fields with the family, with our neighbors, with everyone. So that was the system before, where everybody, from the grandmother to the mother to the kids to the aunts, we all worked together in our fields to have our own produce so that we can have, food on the table. But the structure changed a lot. It changed, and due to this shifting, we had to readopt to the new economic system. So now somebody had to go to a place called work and then make money and provide instead of working the fields. So with this meant that the parents had to separate with their children. They had to separate with the structure that they know so that they can go to faraway lands looking for opportunities and bring money home. And because the technology at the time wasn't exciting, we didn't have fast trains, we didn't have cell phones and so forth and so on. Children would grow up without their parents and without engaging with them, seeing them maybe once a year or something like that. And this meant that the big brother or the big sister at home is the one who has to take up the responsibility of parenting. And because of this, imagine a kid who is 2 years older than you, taking care of you, or 5 years older. Still, they don't have the tools and the capacity to be able to bring their siblings up when they don't even have an example of what a parent is. This has caused a huge gap, a huge gulf in parenting. And because of this, we see our parents who now get to have these transportations to be able to see us, or have these cell phones to be able to FaceTime us and so forth and so on, trying to parent us, but they never seen it anyway. So they just do with what they feel is right. They just go with what they think is right. Remember that they were parented by their elder siblings, or they were not even parented at all. They were the sibling, the big sibling. And this caused a whole lot of problems, because now they have to come and try to guide us in life, and they can only guide us according to how they experienced life, not according to how they were taught, or some sort of a good example of what a family structure is. And we see the black family under huge attacks. It's very sad that you will find in a household where now, let's say, the siblings didn't really get economic opportunities. Now the siblings have to stay in one house with their children. You'll find that in this house there's, the aunt who's staying with her children, and there's the uncle who maybe doesn't even stay with the children in the same house, but the children always come over. And then there's the other sister who has her children in the same household. And the war that goes on there is crazy. I mean, if you look at the wars, the fights that they get, the separation. I mean, we stay in one household, but we cannot get along. It's you and your kids, it's her and her kids, and so many other problems like that. These were caused because parents were not around. They were in a faraway place doing economic activities just so they can, feed their families. Even then, the economic returns were not that exciting that they can, maybe take a leave or all these things, that they can spend time with their children and teach them how to be children and how to be adults. So now we have self-educated parents who just do what they feel, and unfortunately there's a lot of bitterness between the generation now and the previous one, because a lot of people feel like, oh, my mom should have done enough, my dad should have done enough. But really, when you understand your history, unfortunately in the black community, most of family history is secret. And you will have to really dig, or you'll have to be with somebody from the outside who will tell you, who will narrate some sort of history, and it might not even be accurate. Maybe they're just telling you from the perception of what they saw at the time. And our own history is not shared with us. So it is difficult to know, okay, this is where we went wrong, this is how I fix it, and this is how I move forward. But in this short message, I just want to tell you that forgive your parents if you felt like they were not good enough. I mean, in the modern age, you have parenting books, you have a whole lot of models that you can go and talk to, see them. And not only that, they're staying with their children, which is a whole different model to what your parents had. So right now, most of us, we want to be parents, but we don't want to be the parents that our parents were, and that is not really a good guide. But like I said, now we have better tools like parenting books, the internet, videos, and so you get to learn, and you are learning on the go. You are learning on the go. Surely there's a lot of things that we are doing wrong that our children feel like, my parents are unfair. My parents are not really, doing a good work. But this is supposed to be discussed with them to say, listen, your great grandmother was not around for your grandmother, and because of that, your grandmother wasn't really great at parenting, and then now I'm learning on the go and how to be a parent, and this is where I'm taking it. This is where you have to take over from. You get what I'm saying? So it has to be a generational learning. So we learn from one generation to the next, one generation to the next, one generation to the next. So like I said, that a whole lot of families, they don't really share with their kids the history. There's a lot of secrets. So it's very difficult to navigate life if you don't really know where you are from. I urge everybody to try and find out where they are from. It will give you a really great, a broader view of where you are now and where you are supposed to take things. Because, you have to do better than your parents. The ultimate goal is to do better than your parents. You take the baton from your parents and you run faster than they did. You give your kid the baton, you share the skills of how did I take it to this point so that they can do better, right? This will help generation to generation to generation. All right, I hope we can discuss this more, because I feel like even now there's a whole lot of the black family does not know how to function. The woman in the house does not know what a woman does, and she watches TV and try to be unhappy because of something that she saw on TV. The man doesn't know the role of a man, and because of that, he maybe gets advice somewhere, or he goes to a strip club and then expect the wife to do something that a stripper did, which I think is really, really unfair. If we are to function well, we have to understand the institution of the household. What is the role of the wife? What is the role of the husband? What are the roles of them together, and what are the roles of the children? Because I have seen that many women today are expecting their men to be feminine and do feminine things, and then they would go and brag about it. My man is doing this, but that is not the role of a man. And the man would compromise himself to make the woman happy, to make the woman brag about him. And on a later stage, it causes an issue now when maybe she meets somebody who's masculine, and then she feels like, no, my man is not a man enough. And when I say masculine, I don't mean somebody who beats you, because we have a notion also in the black community where, some women feel like if he doesn't beat you, he's not man enough. If he's not aggressive with you, he's not man enough. And now you want to build, a generation of men that are abusive, that are aggressive towards their women. And then now when they are like that, you want to complain about gender-based violence. You see the problem. So you groom these people, and then when they are there, you want to say, no, why are they being violent? But gender-based violence has been there for years. Let me try to maybe unpack it a little bit. So in the black community again, maybe 4 generations before now, a woman or a maikoti would come into the house yet be silenced. That is a problem, right? She's silenced. She can't express her dissatisfactions and whatnot. She just has to do the work, right? She just has to make sure that the yard is clean and the babies are fed and all those kind of things. These things made her to carry a whole lot of issues. Now she narrates these issues to her children to say, they are treating me unfair, because there's no institution where she has to go and talk to maybe elders or a psychologist or somebody who will be able to deal with her mental illnesses or her emotional issues. That thing does not exist. Now she takes all this pain and passes down to the children. narrating it. Oh, they're treating me unfair. Oh, this and this. Oh, I hate this family and all those kind of things. So those children, they grow up with a mentality of, you know, the family was not working. My mother was not satisfied. Anger, bitterness. So you are transferring all the negativity to children who don't know what to do with the negativity. In fact, the mother didn't know what to do with the negativity. So imagine the negativity being passed down from the mother to the children, from the children. So it's accumulating, until we have a person who just abuses women. And some women feel like, oh, he's man enough, he's man for me. You get it? We need to address the fact that violence can never mean man enough. Violence is not masculine. Masculine means having a vision and having the aggression to push it, not to push women, not to beat women, not to beat people, right? I mean, of course, we had a period in life where, you know, things like successions are decided on the battlefield, you know, where now the strongest guy is the one. Shaka, for example, I know I speak a lot about Shaka. Shaka, for example, I mean, he won a lot of, you know, rulership. I mean, he won his rulership because of how he's able to fight. But now we are civilized. Succession should not be rulership or succession or rulership should not be determined by how violent one is, how cruel one is, because we have new tools, we are evolving and we are civilized and we have better ways of dealing with issues, right? So, yeah, what I just wanted to unpack was the fact that let's stop encouraging or let's stop building men who are abusive. In the black community, we need to have places where our brothers, our aunts, they can go and try to express themselves. Because if they're not getting the psychological help, it is, like I said, accumulated anger. From the great-great-great-great-grandfather until today, we've been accumulating bitterness. We've been accumulating depression. We've been accumulating. So we need to tackle these things. You know, I know that religion has brought a lot of bad, but there's a lot of good as well that came with religion. I mean, religion gave a basis for example, the previous generation before mine to be able to, you know, sing and be happy and all these things because of what they're going through. Unfortunately, some found, you know, going clubbing, going to shebeens as their religion, and where they can just, you know, try to deal with their anger, try to express it, talk to their people when they can be open only when there's alcohol. And some found, you know, going to priests and confessing and all those things as and some found going to priests and confessing and, you know, beating a drum at church or something like that as a form of releasing some of the aggression. It helped out a lot. I'm not saying that we should go to shebeens or you should go and beat a drum. I'm saying that we need to have a structure where now we can sit down and talk. And and be confrontational and be honest about how we feel. Because another thing is that lack of honesty. There was lack of honesty. I'm sure it still exists because people are scared that if they be honest, the raw truth, others will judge them. So it's also that safety. We need to deal with the psychological mind in the black community. Let's take this conversation further. This is just what I wanted to talk about today. Hala hala back, hala back.